All right, I'd like to call the Ute Water Commission meeting to order. I want to welcome everybody, and we'll try this now that we can actually see each other and in person, and hopefully we can get this done. And Mayor Lansford, I wish you were here so that you could run this meeting. You've been doing it for a long time, and it's good to see you. So I'd like to do a roll call. Ms. Gray, would you do a roll call, please?
Here.
Here.
Texaco, Quay County,
Here.
Logan,
Here.
Senhone,
Here.
Tucumcari,
Here.
Roosevelt County,
Here.
Elida,
Here.
and Portales.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda would be the approval of the agenda. Is there anybody that have some additions or corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for approval of the agenda.
Can we have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
And who seconded? Are you writing this down for me? Okay. Curry County, Clovis,
Yes.
Grady,
Yes.
Melrose is absent, Texaco, Quay County,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Senhone,
Yes.
Tucumcari,
Yes.
Roosevelt County,
Yes.
Elida,
Yes.
and Portales.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda would be the approval of the minutes for May 29th, 2020. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes and stand for a motion for approval?
And those are,
Corrections?
those are as best that we could get from our
We did a
video
very good job.
conference we tried to do.
I would make a motion, we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Curry County, Clovis,
Yes.
Grady,
Yes.
Melrose absent, Texaco absent. Quay County,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Senhone,
Yes.
Tucumcari,
Yes.
Roosevelt County,
Abstain.
Elida,
Yes.
and Portales.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next is election of officers. There's a little bit of a confusion, and I'm sorry for that last meeting. And I did talk to Mr. Barnett, and he gave me a couple of options. What I thought we would do is we would open it up for any nominations, and then the person that is nominated, if they are willing to take the office, they would accept it. And then we'll, if we have another nomination, continue and have that person accepted. And then after everybody has made nominations, we'll have a vote. Is that correct, Mr. Barnett?
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's correct.
Thank you very much. So, Ms. Gray?
May I get who seconded the, okay, thank you, Chris.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now I will open up the floor for nominations for chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion, or I'd like to make a nomination of Richard Primrose for chair.
Thank you. I will accept. Are there any other nominations?
Mr. Chair, I would like to nominate Ron Jackson.
I would accept as
All right.
well. Mike.
Is there any other nominations? Then we will, I don't know that it's necessary to have a secret ballot. We just vote by the show of hands. Is that sufficient with everybody? Roll call vote, okay. Okay, so the first nomination was Richard Primrose, so have a roll call vote for Richard Primrose as chairman.
Curry County. Oh, they're absent, sorry. Clovis,
No.
Grady,
Yes.
Melrose. Oh, they're absent, sorry. Quay County,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Sanhone,
Yes.
Tucumcari,
Yes.
Roosevelt County,
No.
Elida,
No.
and Portales.
No.
Okay, for Ron,
Yes, now there'll be a roll call vote for Ronald Jackson.
Clovis,
Yes.
Grady,
No.
Melrose, oh, absent. Quay County,
No.
Logan,
No.
Sanhone,
No.
Tucumcari,
No.
Roosevelt County,
Yes.
Elida,
Yes.
and Portales.
Yes.
So we have 1, 2, 3. So for Richard, we have 5 yeses and 4 nos, and then just the opposite for Ron. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses and 2, 3, 4, 5 nos.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's confidence in me. So next, I would ask for nominations for vice president.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for Mr. Ronald Jackson for vice chair.
I would accept that nomination, Mr. Chairman.
Any other nominations? If there's no other nominations, then could elect Ronald Jackson by acclamation, right? All those in favor, or roll call?
Clovis,
Yes.
Grady,
Yes.
Quay County,
Yes.
Logan,
Yes.
Sanhone,
Yes.
Tucumcari,
Yes.
Roosevelt County,
Yes.
Elida,
Yes.
and Portales.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Barnett to discuss the legal services for the Ute Water Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. Basically, the discussion so far has been that, that the city of Clovis will continue to pay for the legal services, but representing the commission as a whole. If that works with all the members of the commission, my understanding is we'll keep it that way. With our firm, Harmon, Barnett, and Morris, myself as the primary attorney, handling whatever business the commission needs.
Do we need a vote on that, or, I mean, I think I appreciate the city of Clovis stepping up and doing that for the commission, and they always have. Do you think we need to do a formal roll call for that?
There never has been a roll call, it's just been part of it, and part of the reason as well is that we also represent the Water Utility Authority, so it kind of all blends together, and it's just, but if you would like a roll call, there's no problem doing that.
Well,
Mr. Chairman?
discussion?
I don't believe we can vote on that if it's listed as a discussion item
Oh.
on the agenda.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate the city of Clovis doing that for the commission for so long, and It's always been a good working relationship with that. So the next item is review of the Ute Water Commission and an ISC contract. On the Ms. Chansey, did you had sent the entities that were no longer part of the Eastern New Mexico Rural Water Authority, that are they still planning on being part of the Ute Water Commission?
Mr. Chairman, the only response I received was from the Village of Grady, and they do desire to keep their water reservation and remain a part of the Ute Water Commission. I have not received a reply yet from the Village of Melrose. So I will reach out to them again.
Okay.
And see if they've made a decision.
Mr. Barnett, if since the Ute Water Commission has 12 entities that are part of that, if there is an entity that wishes to withdraw from the Ute Water Commission, we would have to do my understanding is redo the JPA that forms the Ute Water Commission. And then also, like your opinion on what we would do with if the water that's reserved from the entity that withdraws from the Ute Water Commission. Could you tell us how that would work?
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the commission actually has had this issue before where some members withdrew. And what they did in that situation was that they drafted a new JPA, substantially the same in form, but with the different parties. And there was just a reallocation of the water. I think the commission wants to keep all of the water that it can, so it would just be whichever members would like to purchase those additional, probably allow them to purchase them in the same percentage of ownership that they have right now of the water. There was a 2006 amendment that allows it to go on indefinitely. We could possibly just remove them through an amendment such as that, but probably a new JPA would be the best path forward for that.
Have they in the past, did they prorate the water that's available to all of the entities, or?
I've gone back through old files trying to determine for certain what happened, and I haven't been able to ascertain exactly how they divvied up those members that got out their portions, because they also gained additional water during that time. I believe they went from 18,000 to 24,000 or something like that. So I'm not sure how who got which portions of the members that left and who got what portions of the new water reservation as well. So I don't know how it was done in the past. I have about 10 bankers boxes full of history of the commission, and I have not found any information in it yet. I'm not certain that there's not, but I haven't found any.
Okay. Well, when we do find out which if there are any entities that are willing to or wanting to withdraw from the Ute Water Commission, then we could at our next meeting decide that, I assume.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I think that'd be appropriate.
Thank you, sir. Is there any discussion on the Ute Water Commission?
Mr. Chairman, if one entity wanted to acquire another entity's water reservation at the lake, what would be the procedure, the methodology to pursue that for the commission, not the authority?
If they wanted to, so the JPA lays out the percentages and acre feet that each party has. And so when we draft the new JPA, we would have the new allocations of those percentages and those acre feet in the JPA. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that would be the procedure, because the contract with ISC is just for the entire water. they're not, I don't believe, concerned with how it is divvied up among the members.
So the contract, I have a question, Mr. Chairman. So the contract
Yes.
with ISC is a contract for what's now 24,000 acre feet. And then our JPA is what breaks it down to each community.
Yes, Mr. Jackson, that's correct.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may, it would seem to me that the JPA discussion is separate of the purchase contract with the ISC, and given the deadline of December of this year that's contained in that agreement with the ISC, it would seem that we would need to prioritize just making sure that we have a continued agreement between the ISC and this commission, and then a separate discussion, possibly at a later time, could be, how those water rights are divvied up, and that could be addressed in the JPA. And I would mention that the city of Clovis and Curry County have worked together, and the city of Clovis is happy to take the reservation that Curry County has, and in fact, we're working on Curry County's working on a memorandum of understanding where we would take that and also assume the obligations that go with that.
Mr. Morse, I think you're right. We do need to, our main priority is to make sure that we extend the reservation fee for our water that we've got allocated. That's the most important thing that we need to do, is to proceed and talk to the Interstate Streams Commission and see if they're willing to negotiate and continue our reservation fee for additional time. At this time, I think the city of Tucumcari is the only entity that's actually purchasing water and have a use for it. So we definitely want to make sure that we can extend our reservation fee and work with Interstate Streams to do that.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just make a comment along those lines, and you say continuing the reservation fee, I would like to see us stay at that same price that we're at in this contract for an additional 10 years. If we go
Absolutely.
that long or longer if the ISC would let us.
Yes, that's correct. That's what we're trying to negotiate towards.
So this is just a discussion, but we do probably need to, at some point in time, maybe give Mr. Barnett the authority to go and talk to the Interstate Streams and hopefully get a new contract that would extend the reservation fee for hopefully another 10 years. So any other discussion on that, Mr. Barnett?
No, Mr. Chairman, unless anyone has any additional questions. And so we've already kind of reviewed the JPA and talked about that, because the JPA is the document that forms the Ute Water Commission, and we'll our next meeting we'll need to try and get a definite answer from the entities to make sure that they're all 12, which entities are going to be part of this JPA. Have any other discussion on those items? I think the next time we should have a meeting shortly so that we could actually put these as approval items so that we can make a decision instead of just discussion. And any other comments on these?
Just a question. When are you going to try to meet with the Interstate Stream Commission and try to negotiate those prices? Will we know something before we have another meeting?
I'm not sure when we'll have an idea on that. I know that Chairman Primrose has spoken with ISC about it, so we're in kind of preliminary discussions. We don't anticipate a problem, but obviously until everything's signed, won't know that for sure. But we are, very mindful of the December 31st, 2020 expiration date of it, as are they. And so it's something we're actively working toward. One thing I did think of to mention, Mr. Chair, is we had discussed that there might be some concerns with the ISC with members staying in who would have no viable way of ever accessing the water. Has the ISC addressed that concern very much? Is that anything that you think the commission needs to be aware of, or?
I did not discuss that. I did talk to one of the staff members about extending the reservation fee, and he didn't see that would be a problem, but of course we have to go to the commission and get their approval. But we did not discuss anything about an entity that didn't have the availability of utilizing the water at this time or in the near future. Mr. Ortega, did you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Orlando Ortega with the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority Administrator. I just want to encourage the commission to make the renewal of the ISC contract a priority. I know that the ISC commission is very busy, and with COVID-19 being a part of all of this, it's kind of set them back somewhat with their schedule. So what I would encourage you is to act on this as soon as possible, because it doesn't just happen over one meeting. It's gonna take some time, and we are in June, middle of June now. The contract expires in December 31st of 2020, and of course there's a good process in that, and a lot of review, a lot of discussion, and so forth. So. Just representing the authority, just want to encourage that.
I agree with Mr. Ortega. It is extremely important. It's would be beneficial to all of the 12 entities to make sure and get this extended. We're on discussion. We can't really make a decision at this time, but we hope that Mr. Barnett could work with the ISC staff to do that. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I would just like to emphasize that, and as our attorney representative gets that information, maybe at that time we can schedule another meeting in 30 days or soon, whenever that comes about, and have everybody maybe available for another meeting a little sooner than later.
Yes.
Just expedite that.
I agree. I'm sure we need to have another meeting within the next 30 days.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Morris?
Do I understand that we would need to take some sort of action that we're not allowed to take today in order to begin that conversation? Is it possible, if I may, can I just recommend that you and the vice chairman and our attorney engage the ISC in this conversation as soon as possible, and that the three of you do that together?
Yes, I don't think we need an action item, any type of directive on the negotiation process. To approve a contract, we definitely would, but not just to begin engaging in the process.
Great. To Mr. Ortega's point, and time being of the essence, I recommend that chairman, vice chairman, and our attorney engage the ISC in that conversation as soon as possible, so that we have the information necessary to take action at our next meeting.
That would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, I would go to the next item, the dam safety report from Mr. Stahl. Rex is not here.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Stahl's not here, and I don't know if we have him on the line or not. Do we have anyone on the phone? Okay. Mr. Stahl did provide a report, which we did email out. We do have it to email out, and we can email that out. Current storage is at 160,351 acre feet. The maximum storage capacity is 65,149 acre feet, and the minimum storage is 154,167 acre feet. The change in storage in the past 30 days, they've lost, looks like 1,193 acre feet. We know that we've had no rain, and it has been very, very warm, so a lot of that's going to be evaporation. Year-to-date change in storage, 3,186 acre feet. And year-to-date precipitation is 1.5 inches. The current conservation storage, not accounting for sediment influx, is 152,578 acre feet. They're at 77% of authorized capacity.
Right. Did everybody get a chance to review that? And I appreciate Ms. Chansey for doing that.
We'll make sure we email it out again. I'm not sure it got to everyone in time. Yeah. Everyone here should have a hard copy, but we'll email it out to those members that weren't able to attend.
All right, thank you. Next, I'll turn it over to Mr. Ortega to give us an update on the Eastern New Mexico Rural Water Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I do have a PowerPoint presentation that I'd like to share with you, if the IT folks can bring it up. In fact, I'm going to have to move so I can see it just a little bit, maybe.
Amanda, do you want to trade places with me? Would that
Sure.
be better? Let me just get out of your way.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to report to you on the activities of the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority and in our efforts with constructing the Eastern New Mexico Rural Water System. First page there is, just want to bring you all up to date on our activities on current construction, which is Finished Water 2. Finished Water 2 is currently under construction, and we are at 99% complete as of this week. In fact, we did a walkthrough yesterday, a punch list of sorts, and are working towards completing that project. The only thing that we're going to lack is the seeding, as our time frame for seeding the restoration areas of the pipeline route have gone beyond the time to seed, a good time to seed. So we will be doing the seeding in the fall. But that is a 7.5 mile portion of transmission that connects from northwest of Cannon Air Force Base into Cannon Air Force Base to their water system, and then travels east to Martin Luther King, and then south to Brady Avenue, connecting to EPCOR's water system, the company that provides water to the community of Clovis. This is a 33-inch welded steel pipe that, again, connects Cannon Air Force Base and the city of Clovis. The connection to Cannon Air Force Base is a little smaller at 16-inch ductile iron pipe. We've had a pretty good success with this project. No major issues, little minor here and there, but very typical of a construction project. Through this effort, we've been able to create about 60 direct jobs on site for about a year and a half, and about 15 direct jobs off-site in support of the project. Next slide, please. Just want to show you a few pictures of our construction over the past year. Back in May of 2019, so it's been almost about a year ago, we laid the first joint of pipe, and exactly 1 year later, we began to fill the pipe with water. You can kind of get an idea of the construction there. If you could hold on to this slide just for a moment. We have 11 vaults throughout this 7.5 miles of pipeline. And in constructing a water pipeline, it's not just a matter of digging a trench and putting the pipe in the ground. There's a science to movement of water within a pipe. And these vaults all have a purpose throughout this system. Some are valves that can actually isolate water within the system. Others are air release. Others are for taking water out of the system if needed, and so forth. So, very good engineering and like I said, a very well structured pipeline that allows for good movement of water without any issues. We can go ahead and move on. This photo here shows a vault being constructed. This one is over at the Cannon Air Force Base site, and all of this is now completed, but just to give you an idea of the magnitude of the project. These are photos of vault construction. This picture right here is our main junction vault, which actually delivers water coming in from our future water treatment plant, going over to Clovis and Cannon Air Force Base, and also to Portales. This is the vault that we call the Clovis Vault over on Brady and Martin Luther King. This connects to the EPCOR water system. Those water tanks in the background are the EPCOR storage facility. This is an air vac here where it allows water or air to escape the pipe as water travels through it, so it allows the water as it's moving to not cause vibration within the pipe. Another photo of an interior of a vault. Next slide here is actually the next phase of construction that we have focused on, and this project is called Finish Water 3, which will be the pipeline connecting Finish Water 2 to the community of Portales. This is a 16.8 miles of pipeline of 20-inch PVC transmission. We are currently working on preparing a bid package for that, and we hope to be going out to bid by late summer. This cost is estimated at $36.6 million. Next slide. And this is the route of Finish Water 3 connecting from Cannon Air Force Base, or northwest of Cannon Air Force Base, and then going into Portales. Next slide. The funding that we have available to date for Finish Water 3 comes in several different forms. As you can see here, we have $14.75 million from the Bureau of Reclamation, Water Trust Board award from 2019 at a little over $2.8 million, capital outlay, an award from the governor towards our project at $1 million, and then this year's announcement just a few weeks ago for the 2020 Water Trust Board award, notice of award at a little over $5.7 million, and then contributions from the authority funds at a little over $1.1 million. So a little over $25 million, about $25.5 million towards Finish Water 3A. We feel we can complete about 2/3 of that project of Finish Water 3 going to Portales with this. Maybe even a little more, depending on how the bids come in. The next phase after that, which we are already beginning to work on after the beginning of the fiscal year, will be Finish Water 1, which is the phase from the beginning, the top end of Finish Water 2, northwest of Cannon Air Force Base, to the future water treatment plant. This next phase of work, we will be bringing that 60% design up to 90%, beginning July 1st. And this is about 15 miles of 39-inch welded steel pipe to the proposed treatment plant. The alignment again runs north and south and follows Curry Road R between the future treatment plant and Cannon Air Force Base. This is estimated construction at $48.3 million. Next slide. Again, the focus right now of the authority is the interim groundwater pipeline, which connects the majority of the population. This has been a focus of the authority for some time, and we are making some progress there. By building the interim groundwater pipeline, it's going to allow the authority to have potential of accessing groundwater north of Clovis and in that area along the transmission. Next slide. This is a picture or a map of the interim groundwater pipeline. Next slide. Again, the benefits of completing the IGWP, connecting the majority of the population, it allows us the ability to negotiate for groundwater while groundwater is still available, can provide immediate service to the population and so forth. Most importantly, it strengthens the economy of eastern New Mexico, knowing that we have an additional groundwater source to meet the demand and meet the needs. Next slide. This slide here will show you the tasks that the authority is taking forward in the next fiscal year beginning July 1st. At our last board meeting, the authority board approved the preliminary budget with all of these projects. And with that, it's going to keep us real busy. And the authority is committing a little over $3.5 million of its own money to these projects. So if you look over from the left side, and we'll move over to the right, we have Finished Water 3A, which I mentioned to you is the pipeline next phase going to Portales. And with that, we see that $24.410 million. Down below with that arrow pointing up is the a little over $1.1 million that of authority dollars going towards that project. We call that Finished Water 3A. Again, we hope to go out to bid late summer on that project. Now, if we go over to the top right to the center with Task Order 7, we have Finished Water 1, which is the 39-inch welded steel pipe phase to the proposed treatment plant. We are engaging in bringing that project up from 60% design to 90% and preparing for going out to bid on that. The authority is committing a little over $700,000, almost $800,000 towards that project this year alone. We will be committing a little over $1 million towards that effort. And then if you look over at Task Order 8 to the right of that, we have the Texaco lateral there, which we'll be doing some initial work in identifying the best alternate or the best route for Texaco. That effort involves the community of Texaco. It involves all of our stakeholders, including the Bureau of Reclamation, the State of New Mexico Environmental Department, Constructions Programs Bureau, and the authority, in getting everyone together at the table to make sure that everyone is in agreement to finding the best alternate for Texaco. We want to get to Texaco because Texaco is in dire need of water. They're having some issues there, and they have expressed that. And we have some opportunity to maybe connect to Texaco sooner than later and help them out there. Now, going back to the center, down below Task Order 7, we have Task Order 5, which is the project that we're currently working on that's at 99% complete. As I mentioned to you, we were going to have the seeding that's left on that, so we're going to carry that project over into the next fiscal year to complete that. If you look over back to the right of Task Order 5, we have Task Order 3, which is easement acquisition. The board has committed $150,000 towards easement acquisition for Finished Water 3, the remaining easements there, and then another $150,000 towards Finished Water 1, going up to the future water treatment plant for easement acquisition there. And then back to the center down at the bottom is Task Order 4, which is general engineering support, which allows us to, if we have an issue with something, to investigate that, and if we need assistance from our engineering team to help us with that, we've budgeted $35,000 for that. So as you can see, the total amount of a little over $3.5 million of authority funds going towards these projects, not counting the Bureau of Reclamation, state funds, and Water Trust Board funds going towards construction. So pretty active over the next fiscal year in activities with the authority. We have a very aggressive and progressive approach for this next fiscal year, but it's something that can certainly demonstrate to the Interstate Stream Commission as you go towards renewing your contract that we are making progress with this project, and that's one thing that they, they said that if we can prove that we are making progress, then they like that. So that can help you with your process in renewing that contract. And I think that's the last slide there. If you will go on to the next slide, I think that's it. Thank you, and I'm open to any questions that this commission might have.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. I one question. Where is the future treatment facility going to be?
It's
Just-
about
just a
15
question.
miles north of 6084. So if you see 6084 and Curry Road R, right as you were driving into town, if you go straight north about 15 miles, that will be the location.
Right. I was just curious. Any other questions for Mr. Ortega? Very aggressive project, and y'all are doing a great job, and appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thank you.
So the future agenda items, I assume we'll come back and try to, hopefully, we'll discuss with the Interstate Streams and have we may have to have a new JPA and hopefully contract with the Interstate Streams Commission. Anybody have any items that they would like to be on the next agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, just a public comment there that's
Sure.
on there. I would like to just thank David Lansford for all his work on this commission over the last few years. I heard you make a comment that you wish he was still up there at the helm, and he's done such a great job, and I just wanted to give a public shout out to David Lansford for all his work on this, as well as his work with the city of Clovis and everything. So anyway, I know you're very humble, but anyway, thank you.
Absolutely. I'd echo that. I think I've been involved with the U-Water Commission since '02, and David has done lots of work, and we appreciate everything that he's done. Any other comments? And, make a motion to adjourn?
So moved. I'll second.
A second. Do we need a roll call on that?
David. And I believe it was Chris.
Yeah, Chris Arias on the second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Have a safe trip back.